Hey, how's it going? It's Joseph here. Today I want to show you how to scale images correctly in SketchUp while showing you some examples of practical uses. And let's get to it. So here's a scenario. You're given a set of drawings, plans, sections, elevations, and having to develop a model off of it. Often it can be in PDF format, whether vector or raster file inside of PDF or DWG, or sometimes even JPEGs. And you're having to utilize that data into SketchUp. I prefer converting everything into JPG or JPEG so that I can just trace the line and develop a simplistic model as opposed to trying to snap onto every single line that CAD file or Revit export gives you. And this is a workflow that I follow where I think if it is a good workflow to follow. That's entirely up to you, but this is in a case where you're given a raster file and you're having to put them into SketchUp in a correct scale, and obviously trying to pull it here and there is a bit difficult, so here's how to do it. So this is a plan that I have received, let's say, and it's in a format of a JPEG. It's a plan and it shows some dimensions here and there, and I'm having to use this plan to draw a SketchUp file. And for the demonstration purposes, I'm just going to put it into this existing model. It wasn't actually developed off of this plan, so it can be kind of off, but we'll see how accurate this is. So we'll give that a try. So first of all, just from your materials, so press B for paint bucket tool or the materials, and then this material should show up, and just click on the default material and create material. Now once a create material dialog pops up, you can click browse for material image file, and then I'm just going to go to this, select that JPEG that I just showed you in the very beginning, open. And then I'm just gonna put down a something very big number. In this case, I'm working in imperial scale. Often I just put down some big number so I can see the image, not tiny little thing. So okay that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go inside of that group and then just select that face and then just apply that material on here. Now it's going to be just tiled across, and I actually removed this edge so that it kind of goes into this plan that I'm trying to focus on. I believe I need to rotate it, thinking that that's edge there. I believe it's one of these, so I'm just going to rotate that first. So what I'm going to do is select that face which the material is applied to, right click it, texture, position, and then what I'm going to do is grab this green, so hold it down, turn it around, and then as you snap to the other side, you should be able to snap onto the same exact scale as well as that 180-degree rotation, and let go of your mouse there. Now I sort of moved it, and I can just sort of drag it across on these areas to just kind of place it. So first of all, what I will do is I'll just lift this by single clicking, click, and then I'm just gonna find that corner here, click, and then now I'm gonna actually drag instead of clicking, drag, and then let go of that corner. And then also same thing, try and grab this green one. So I'm only working with red and green. These are other stuff where this one stretches like that, as well as this one stretches like that. I'm just gonna redo in case I have, sorry, undo in case I have done something funny here. So basically stretch that to the size where you think is a bit better, and I'm just gonna try and put that marker down. I believe I can just match this corner with this room back here. So I'm just gonna grab that corner by putting that marker down and then drag it, and then when I'm on that corner, let go. Now hopefully that should sort of match now, because this was actually developed, this model was developed before having this plan, so it may be a little bit off. Now let's see how accurate it was. So as soon as I'm done, I'm just going to hit return or enter, and then that should come in like that. And if I just see all the columns on the other side is somewhat there, I think it could have been better. So let's go back in, texture, position, and then if I go view, component edit, and then if I click that, I can see all the columns, and this is just a shortcut that I dedicated as an H, hide rest of the model, so you can turn on and off of your other stuff that's outside of component or the group. So there you go. I'm just gonna use one of the column, preferably the furthest point, and then grab that and then just move that up. So return again, then come outside to see if it kind of lined up. I think most of them are good. It's like that because it was actually like that in the plan. See, you got double column going on. So yeah, I think I'm fine with this. So this is how you would correctly scale. Now because I've got some dimensions here, I can also measure off of from that. However, I believe I didn't have exact dimensions like that, so made all of these uniform in terms of distance. And I've noticed that that is 21 or 20 and 10 inch there. It's kind of hard to see, so let's, if your images are blurry like that or pixelized, one thing that you could try is window preferences, and then when your dialog pops up, you can go to OpenGL and check on this, use maximum texture size. Sometimes this can slow your machine down, as well as not being so nice on some graphical renderings and such. However, it's good for this sort of practice, so check that. It's gonna warn you, same story, yes, okay. And then these should sort of clear up if there's actual more pixels tied to the image. So yeah, this is 20 by 10, 21, 21. My columns were not actually like that, so if you see down here, it's 2010, so I made 2010 to all of them. It's 2 inches off, I would accept that. However, if you had something like that, and then what you can do is you can just throw this line down and then say 21 feet across, so that's 21 there, and then say 21 another one. So just copy that across, so 21, 21, if you see, there you go, 21 and 21, and then say this was 2010. So if I go copy there, and that should be actually 2010, so I'm just going to put back 2 inches, 2010, there you go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to group them and then just put a plan over it. So I'm just going to use the same texture but position it correctly over there in regards to that grid there. So I'm just going to sample that material, there you go, and then apply it there. Should sort of come in the correct scale, but I'm just going to position it. And then same practice, so start with the red one where I think is at the best position possible. So I'm just going to grab that corner there, which is the one I think should be that one, and then green one, which scales the image. So it will be 21, 21, 20, 10, and the next one here. So I'm just going to try and snap there. I'm just going to pull that out just so that it's completely off, so I don't end up snapping somewhere funny. So there you go. So that corner there and that corner there, and then I'm just going to drag that back onto the grid line that I initially drew, and that should all be in scale properly. So resulting, for the best result, you have to do the furthest corners as possible, then you will be more accurate. However, since you've got some dimensions down anyways, it should all be scaled properly, and this is how you would do it. Okay, so here's another practical application of this workflow. If I were to try and find geolocation, often the map that SketchUp gives you is not the best image that you're looking for. It's probably it actually may not be the latest, or it's lacking resolution, or you're just given a sort of a site plan as an image and you're having to just update it with Google Earth data. Then this is a workflow that you can follow to match certain things. First, let's take a look at the site. So this is my university that I graduated from, Florida International University in Miami, and I'm having to use this site, let's say, and if there's some sort of construction going on with another garage, so it seems, and I don't know if it's finished, but often the case can be different inside of SketchUp. So let's check out what that looks like inside of SketchUp. File, geolocation, add location, and this pops up, and on that location see how this is still not been built, or it's not as built as what the Google Earth shows. So I can just locate that, select region and around there and grab. So that's gonna carry into SketchUp of, there you go. So I'm just gonna remove that. So that's come in, but I'm not seeing updated result there. So I want to have this somewhat higher resolution, and as the tip that I gave you before, it's still at maximum texture, and I'm losing some data that exists here because the resolution is simply not there. Because if you see in here, things are a bit better. And notice if I zoom in, it kind of tilts up. Actually, I don't really like that. So if I remember properly, tools, options, navigation, do not automatically tilt while zooming. I think that's it. Okay, so there, yep, there you go. And I'm just gonna north that, and then there you go. That's sort of the view I want. Whether you want this sort of the real terrain view, or if you want to take that out, then you can get, oh, there it is, it's been built. I haven't gone there in a while, so I don't know, but yeah, you can grab this image if you would like. It has more details and looks a lot more flatter than this version, whichever. I prefer this one for having a sitemap, so let me just click that and make it a bit bigger. And then what I'm going to do is file, save image, and then once this dialog pops up, I can put down as much as I can as a maximum, and then save image. And I'm just gonna put that down here and say Google Earth 01, save, and once that's saved, I can go here. Then actually you'll notice that this has been locked already. So what you're going to do is you can unlock first. One of the other things that you can do in order to bring your image in is actually, let me minimize that, and if you have an icon like this, you can actually bring it in, and by dragging in, and it will just appear here, and you've actually brought in as an image rather than a texture. If you find this method easier, I think you can do that. So once you bring that in, you can scale, so roughly scale it so that it matches your view, and it kind of conflicts because one's material, one is image. So once you're sort of set onto the scale of the image, what you need to do is you explode. Once you explode, you'll notice that additional material has been created. If I sample that, and since we've unlocked it, we can actually go into there. Now, what I do is if I simply apply, then I have nowhere to reference to. So what I do is I do a little cutout. Say, just draw a line from top to bottom, and then I can just map it onto here. So if I match the half, hopefully that will kind of do. Or another method would be to actually just cut a hole. Maybe do that. So I'm just gonna clean that up and then apply it there, and then let that corner be matched with what I got. Let's actually do that. So texture, position, and then if I just try and match that texture there, and same thing, try and grab the red one first, and so this tower here, the corner should match with, it's hard to see, but it's right there, I believe, yes, and then the green. And often these satellite pictures are not that on, so you see how you can see the side of the building, so it can be difficult to scale, but you need to find some references, and then as long as you just kind of scale it somewhere in the middle, then it should be okay. But at least this will help you getting that correct. So I'm just going to use this corner of the tower again, and actually I have no reference to, so I'm just going to use that tower, sorry. So where are you? Okay, and then the tower corner is right there, so I'm just going to bring that down. So is that better? Saying it needs to be slightly bigger. So let's see how that played out. Okay. So I'm just gonna try and map the old one, the new one inside, and see how that matches up with the streets. So there kind of works. No, not really actually. Maybe we need to use different buildings as a reference, or something on the street. Okay, maybe this was a better idea. So texture, I'm just going to delete that so that we're playing with one face. Texture, position, and then red one here. So maybe that building over here needs to match up with that one, which it does. And then trying to look for some detail that I can match to. I don't even, is that a, use this shape here and match there. Okay, let's say that's a better fit. Maybe I can move that a little bit. And then match that up. not so worried about this building here, but I feel that the street, which is flat, doesn't have height, kind of matches up a lot nicer. So yeah, I'm happy to take that. And there you go. So that should kind of replace it. And then I'm just going to delete the one on top. Let me just purge all the layers. And the location terrain brings in whatever that's come in from initially, and the snapshot is located with the one that we just edited. And you can just turn it on and off, and that should kind of match where it is. And there you have it. That's another practical uses of scaling the image inside of SketchUp. And thank you.